Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
I am that dude, Bodkins. Patty to patty. It's ridiculous. No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkins Show. Here. There we go. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Bodkin Show. I am your host, Bodkins, of course. Man, oh man, it is NFL Week 15. Hopes and prayers of playoff dreams are dwindling, mainly for my fucking Green Bay Packers. I mean, Jesus. Every week, we just watched the Cowboys last week beat the Eagles, and you're like, holy shit, can the Cowboys do this thing? Well, then the Cowboys realized, nope, we're in the middle of the end of December. We got to lose in December important games because that's what we do, because that's where the Cowboys, they lose. And so every week, one team, you're like, oh, man, it's time to buy stock in this team. Much like I was starting to buy stock in this year's Green Bay Packers 2 weeks ago. You beat the Lions. You beat the Chiefs. I'm all in, baby. You got me. Hey, we're going to make the fucking playoffs. All we got to do is beat the lowly-ass Giants, the lowly-ass Buccaneers, the Vikings, and another lowly-ass the Bears after that. We could fucking win out, boys. We're going to win this son of a bitch. We're going to make the playoffs, something I never thought would happen. Well, why did they give me fucking hope? Because after you beat the Lions and the Chiefs, you look like, damn, man, we're a really good football team. And then you pull that shit that happens on fucking Monday night, Matt LaFleur. That's your fault. That was your fault running the same wide receiver sweep 3-5 times in a row. It worked one time. They caught on to it after that. That's your fault. That's on you. And Joe Barry. Joe Barry should have been fired on Monday, and then he doubles down with a shit-ass performance today. I mean, Rachaad White looked like Adrian Peterson out there running all over our fucking defense. Baker Mayfield looked like Tom fucking Brady out there passing all over our defense. The same defense that has 10 first fucking rounders on it. And you're telling me that's the effort we get? The playoffs are on the fucking line 2 games in a row. All you got to do is win out. Win these 2 games. And you're probably in. You're going to get in. And you lose. You lay down. You lay down to Tommy DeVito on Monday night. And then you got Baker Mayfield and the Bucs who they haven't looked great. They're not a great team. They're definitely not better than the Chiefs or Lions. No. And then you lay down in Lambeau with a piss poor effort. Are you kidding me? I hate this team. I mean, yes, I live and die. I overreact. That's what I do. It's what happens when you're a fan of a team. God, this team. This team. I tell you what. Chiefs looked good today. I mean, it was a get-right game. Dolphins, man, bounce-back win. Why couldn't we been the Dolphins and had a bounce-back win? Instead, no. Nope. Andy says it was beautiful. The Lions beautiful. Yeah. Hey, appreciate it, Furman. Thanks a lot. But this game, I mean, this week, ups and downs every week. Hey, last week, people were anointing Dak Prescott MVP. This week, it's back to Brock Purdy being MVP. So who knows? Who's going to be MVP? And who knows who really is making this playoffs? Yeah, Furman, I mean, your Falcons stunk up the joint. Yeah, they did. I mean, Arthur Smith. I know that game was raidy and muddy, but Jesus, that game was 6-7? He even scored a touchdown in that game, or was it 9-7? Or it was something like that. I don't know. We'll get into all the games to help me break it down. A guy whose team had the nice bounce back win, and he's bouncing back. Mr. Johnny Cruz. Johnny, what's up?
What's going on, man? Happy to be back. Yes, the Dolphins with a much needed win after that horrendous meltdown on Monday night against the Titans. Yeah, it's bro. We've talked about it a lot this season, bro. This is one of the crazier seasons. You really don't know what's going to happen any given Sunday. 1 week a team looks great, the next week they look like trash. So yeah, it's just been an up and down. Like he mentioned, Furman about those Falcons. Talk about a turd performance by that Atlanta Falcons team and the coaching staff, to be quite honest. But yeah, some ugly
Titans
games
too.
today.
Sam's Titans.
Sam's Titans. I thought they were gonna pull that out. But you lose to the
The
Texans
Bears, Andy's
without
in here
their
talking,
quarterback.
chirping about my Packers. The Bears had a 14-point lead late in that game, and Joe Flacco, I was thinking about Flacco the turd. I was like, oh, Flacco's playing like Flacco, 3 interceptions. But then he was like, oh, no, it's Joey Elite time. I'm going to lead my team back for 2 touchdowns and win the damn game.
Bro, I got to look up the stat, but I want to say I saw it somewhere where he had like 200 yards in the fourth quarter, bro.
Yeah.
Like he went nuts in the fourth quarter on them. The Bears are another one. You mentioned the Titans, Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Kansas City handled their business or whatever. The Saints, who looked like trash last week, completely stomped out Tommy Cutlets and the New York Giants that everybody was getting hyped about. Yeah, it's been crazy, man. It's been a fun season. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was a much needed win for the Dolphins, but dude, it's seriously any given Sunday. Like you mentioned, Dak, all the hype with Dak last week, and the Bills basically just punked them. Up in Buffalo.
Hey, this
crazy,
is your division, and we'll bring in the Hall of Famer Scott Cobe. Are the Bills back? Was Ken Dorsey the real problem there? Because, last week they get a little lucky against the Chiefs. Well, I think we can admit that, but they get the W. And then Dallas with the riding all that momentum after beating the Eagles, they got a chance to win their division, maybe even get first if the 49ers stumble down the road, get that 1 seed. And then they go to Buffalo, and Buffalo's got everything on the table to play for too. They're trying to get to the playoffs. And Buffalo just absolutely kicked them in the dirt, kicked their dicks in the dirt.
AFC, watch out for the Bills. They're back. Watch out. They can make the playoffs. You got to watch out. This edition of the Buffalo Bills team is as dangerous as they've ever.
You know what they're doing, Scott? What we've been pounding. If Ken Dorsey would have listened to this damn show from week 2, they're running the damn football. Ken Dorsey probably still has a job if he listens to this show. We've been saying here on the Bodkin Show and the LTS show, hey, give the ball to James Cook. Stop messing around. Let James Cook cook. And by God, he was cooking all over that Cowboys defense, which is no slouch.
The Dallas Cowboys, and I'm ecstatic because Allen and Flo and all you Cowboys fans who are all full of yourselves got a stink bomb today brought to you by Dak. Jared Goff played quarterback for you guys today. So that's number 1. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys will never, ever, ever make the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. Never. Dak Prescott is so bad on the road. He's an indoor quarterback. You guys better realize Jared Goff and Dak Prescott could be the same quarterback. Great at home, awful on the road. Look at what Dallas.
I hope that trend continues for another week because they're coming down to Miami to play the Dolphins, bro.
If Miami's going to have a motivated Tyreek Hill back next week, a guy that wants to get 2,000 yards, I guarantee you Tyreek is going to go completely off on that team next week. Guaranteed.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting matchup. First of all, shout out to the Hall of Famer's beard. You know what I'm saying? Props on the beard, bro.
Hey, it's Santa Claus going, you know what I mean?
Dak basically screwed that beard because I had Dak as my quarterback today in a league that if I won this week, I'd be going for $5,000 the next 2 weeks. And Dak, I'm not bitter because Dak did that. I'm happy because the Cowboys get smoked out today by the Bills. Completely
bad.
Bro, that was crazy. I didn't get to watch that game, and then all of a sudden I saw the score, and it was just like it was 20 whatever to 3, and I was like, holy shit! Like what happened?
Nick's right. We've been calling this for this all year. Give the ball to James Cook, and you can win games.
He's a player, man.
10-3 right now.
James Cook is a player, but and I know Buffalo's playing great right now, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Dolphin fan, but. They've been up and down all year. It's like they play to their opponent. You know what I'm saying? So they'll play
the
somebody
Bills do,
that they should beat. Buffalo, that they should beat, and then they'll wind up not playing a good game, or you know what I'm saying, this kid will throw 2 or 3 picks or whatever. So you know what I'm saying, Buffalo's playing well, and if they do make it to the playoffs, they are going to be a scary out for anybody.
Johnny, Buffalo
but God only knows what could happen next week. I know. I think they got like the Chargers, your Patriots, and then they come down to Miami. So they should win the next 2 easily. And then that Week 18 game, if Miami drops one of the next 2, and they got Dallas at home coming up, and then they go to Baltimore. So Miami has to just win one of these next 2, so that Week 18 game ain't for the division. That's my thing right there. But
Buffalo
man,
right
Buffalo
now.
good,
Buffalo's the 9 seed. So the 2 teams in front of them, the Colts, Cincinnati, we know, and
Cleveland,
Indy,
the Browns,
Houston.
and Indy. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing too, is that Buffalo still has to leapfrog a few teams. So
so that they getting little luck next week. One of the teams will lose. Browns, Texans play each other, and then Browns, Bengals play each other at the last Week 18 too. Okay. So,
but I think Buffalo loses every tiebreaker that there is.
Yeah.
So they have to win the next 3 games.
Yeah. Right. Plus they're going to need a little bit of help too. They're
going
to need a couple teams to stumble.
Which
again, you never know with this NFL. Like seriously, you know what I'm saying? So,
hey, what was your? If Man Cave, if you're still there, Big Mike, let us know. What was the reaction to Joe Flacco today? Because man, the first 3.5 quarters, he played like absolute dog shit. And I was like, oh, there's my turd of the week. It's going to be Mr. 3 INT. Joe Flacco cost his team the game and lost to the lowly ass Bears. And then he woke up and was like, oh, it's time to play Joe Cool here, Joe Elite. And he made some incredible throws. One of them was Amari Cooper, and who made got some huge yak yards pretty much for the game winner. Flacco threw 3 picks, but got the win. Dallas did what they always do to turn trash right when they, think they turn the page. Exactly. It's December. It's the Cowboys.
But Johnny, I didn't realize the Dolphins had 2 bye weeks this year. What the hell was that? What the hell was that by the Jets today?
Bro, I mean that offensive. There's a reason why. You know what I'm saying? Zach Wilson was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to play." Behind that offensive line, I mean, it got Aaron Rodgers hurt after 4 plays. I mean, that offensive line is pretty bad.
I wanted to get back to the playoff real quick, real fast, Johnny. So the Colts 3 last 3, they got 3 favorable games. Now they're the Colts, so who knows what'll happen. But they got the Falcons next, the Raiders, and the Texans.
It could come down to that last game to see which one of those 2 gets in.
Yeah.
But,
I mean
Texans got a gift today. The Texans got an absolute gift from the Titans today.
Cincinnati's got the Steelers next week. The Cincinnati's got probably the toughest of the road. They do got Pittsburgh, who's still fighting for their playoff lives. I would favor Cincinnati because Pittsburgh doesn't have a starting quarterback on the roster right now.
Right.
Then they got the Chiefs. Chiefs still playing for everything. Then they got the Browns. And the Browns,
All right, so Cincinnati, if they beat Pittsburgh next week, they're going to have to win one of the last 2 to assure they get in.
Yeah, and that's Browns Chiefs.
And that's not easy. You don't think the Browns would want to knock the Bengals out if they got a chance to? It's Ohio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, I mean, they're all fighting for their playoff spots. You know what I mean? Right. Browns would still be fighting. The Texans, they got the Browns next week. That matchup's going to be huge. Then they got the Titans again, team that they barely beat today. Now I know it was like the second stringers for the Texans. And then they got the Colts that last week. So
that's the crazy part too, is that CJ didn't even play because of the concussion. Yeah. And the Texans still wound up getting the win.
And no Tank Dell, no Nico Collins.
Right,
I mean,
they were decimated their offense, and they still found a way.
Their defense just absolutely tore them up. When we get to the stats and we break down the games, their defense had like 8 sacks in that.
That Titans offensive line. Yeah, they went off on that poor kid. I mean, similar to what we did, is just for those last 4 minutes, the defense just decided to play prevent, and the kid went up and down the field on us. You know what I'm saying? So that Titans offensive line, they definitely. But I like the kid. He's a tough kid. He's got a good arm. You're saying he's mobile. I'm talking about Levis.
Yeah.
I think Sam should be happy. Shout out to Sam. I think he should be happy with his quarterback of the future. They definitely got to get some linemen in front of him, man. They got to protect that kid a little better.
Will Levis had 26 passes today. He got hit 11 times. Almost 50% of his passes he was getting hit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Let's jump into it. Let's start with we'll go back to yesterday's 3 games in case anybody missed it real quick. We'll get to the first game, and that was a doozy of a game. Another game, a team just collapsed in the fourth quarter, and that was the Vikings. Vikings looked like they were going to run away with this game. Then Cincinnati scores 21 points in the fourth, and then goes into overtime, and they win the game in overtime. Nick Mullins, nice game for Nick Mullins, 26 of 33, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, but did have the 2 interceptions. Ty Chandler, 23 carries, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Jefferson, 7 for 84. Jordan Addison, 6 for 111 and the 2 touchdowns. Jake Browning, man. I mean, again, 29 of 42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, only 10 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. Chase Brown had added 7 carries there. 4 receptions for 64 yards for Jamar Chase. He did get banged up at the end of the game. T. Higgins, man, 4 receptions for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns as he led the way in the receiving. You guys' thoughts here? Vikings, they pretty much looked done, even though Nick Mullins looked like he could handle the load going forward.
Yeah, Mullins can handle the load, but here's the thing. I said this earlier on the morning show, and I'll say this again. There's coaches that just don't know how to coach. Kevin O'Connell, 3rd down and 1, sneaks it. Doesn't get it. Goes 4th down. What's he do? Same exact play. You have a guy in the backfield that's running for 100 yards, right? And it is a beast yesterday, okay? And what you do is you put it in the quarterback's hands and try to sneak it right in the middle of the line where the whole defense is stacked up to stop you. What are you doing? What are you doing? Their loss yesterday was all on the coach, completely on the coach yesterday.
I don't know how. I'm with you on that one. I don't know how Mullins could have possibly played a better game than that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the 2 interceptions obviously hurt. But that Browning kid, talk about backups that are actually, you know what I'm saying, playing well. 324 yards, like you mentioned, 2 touchdowns, 11 different receivers, bro. So he spread that ball around to the entire offense. And made the plays they needed to make it in the end there, but how do you give up those 21 points in that fourth quarter, man? And that defense had been playing better, Minnesota too. But
I said this morning too that teams are going to call for Jake Browning over the offseason.
Yep.
If you're a team in the search of a quarterback, I don't know, the Atlanta Falcons, Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you telling me Jake Browning don't look better than Kenny Pickett?
Yep.
No doubt.
The Giants, Jake Browning looks better than what they got on their roster.
Absolutely.
Now, I know he's got quite a bit of groceries, but why not? You know what I mean?
Right.
Here's the deal. Look up and down the AFC and the NFC. Guys like this make their paychecks on a stretch like this, and Jake Browning will get paid very well by a team. If he's a free agent, I don't know if Cincinnati will let him go if he's under contract, but if he's a free agent, somebody's going to pay him. Carolina could pay him to be their backup, or
that's what I mean.
Bryce Young.
If it's an open competition, are you telling me the Raiders couldn't call Jake Browning and say, "Hey, we want to bring you in next year and see if we want to trade for this guy and see if he can be our starting quarterback"?
He's still young enough. He's still young enough where he's got a lot of years left in the league. I mean, this kid's making his money right now.
Let me ask you this: New England would love Jake Browning.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
He's better than everybody else. He's the best. He would be their starting quarterback right now.
Yeah, and Patriots fans, by the way, you're welcome for Bailey Zappi. Look at that performance today. That was ugly, completely ugly. So yeah, if we don't get a quarterback in the draft, then I would call Cincinnati and find out what it takes to get Jake Browning.
Yeah, I mean he's only 27, man. So he's still
plenty of time.
He's only been 3 years in the league, and kudos for the Bengals for holding on to him and developing him. Because he
signed a 1-year deal for $750,000 this year, so he's a free agent after this season.
Yeah, because he's been on their practice squad, and they elevated him and signed him to a 1-year deal on the practice squad after the practice squad.
Yeah, because look at what Browning's done. Bengals fans were like, he comes in the first game.
Kid's been throwing for
got
300.
no
He's been
shot.
slinging it.
Yeah,
Outside after that first game against the Steelers, after that, they're 3-0 with him.
Yep.
He was 3-1 as a starter, and they all got 300-yard passing.
Right. And I mean, and we know they have weapons, but like I said, I mean, Chase only had 4 for 64. Higgins only had 4 for 61. Like I said, 11 different receivers caught a pass. I mean, so he's spreading the ball around, obviously, to everybody, making plays when they need him to make plays. I mean, again, he's only 27, bro. So
are they making the playoffs?
He's making some money, bro, this offseason.
The Bengals are so currently the Bengals are the 6th seed. So their next 3 games: Steelers, Chiefs. Oh, we just went over it. Steelers, Chiefs, Browns. So
yeah,
man, it's gonna be tough. He's gonna have to keep slinging it for them to get in.
I mean, and depending on what the Browns do, like they may be battling in week 18 to make that last playoff spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that could be winner goes home, loser.
Right.
Loser does it.
You know, loser makes the playoffs. Yeah.
So
winner loser doesn't.
So here's a scenario that could play out. The Bengals could have 10 wins going into the last week. The Bills could have 10 wins going into the last week. The Browns could have 10 wins going in the last week.
The Colts.
All these teams could have 10 wins going in the last week. There could be 5 teams with 10 wins vying for the last 2 positions of wild card. It's crazy.
Crazy.
And I give Cincinnati as good a chance as anybody because Cleveland's got 9 wins. If they win the next 2, I think they're already. I think
Cincinnati's got 8 wins right now. They're 8-6.
Isn't Cleveland 9-5?
Oh, Cleveland. I'm thinking. Cleveland's 9-5. Sorry, I was looking at Cincinnati. So what about the Vikings? They lost today, but they obviously get helped out by the Packers losing, and the Rams won. Seattle losing, or we'll find out about Seattle tomorrow night if they can get to 7-7. But Minnesota falls to 7-7. Their next 3 games: Lions, Packers, Lions.
I think the Lions have nothing to play for in week 18, so they might rest people because they already have the division wrapped up, and they'll probably have the 3.
I don't know. They could have done that last year, and they went and destroyed us in Green Bay and made us miss the playoff. And so I think the way Dan Campbell coaches is, if we can knock them out of the playoffs, we're going to knock them out of the playoffs.
I think if they were guaranteed the bye in the first round, that would be the case. But since they're not guaranteed the bye, I would think Goff and those starters would play the first half, and then the backups would come in. So Minnesota's got a shot to win the last week, but I don't have any confidence they're going to beat Detroit next week. Zero confidence.
Who knows? Between them and Green Bay, that'll be a game. Who doesn't want to win this game?
That's right. Who wants a higher draft pick? Green Bay or Minnesota?
Yeah. That's why that Atlanta loss was just that was horrible, bro. To lose to Carolina like that, man. You know what I'm saying? They actually still had a shot at the division and just shit the bed.
Let's get into yesterday's other middle game. Man, there was the Steelers absolutely stink. Mitch Trubisky stinks. 16-23, 169 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Jalen Warren, they got nothing in the running game between either running back. Deontay Johnson, 4 for 62 and a touchdown. George Pickens, a whopping 3 for 47. Gardner Minshew, 215 for 3 touchdowns. Zach Moss caught a ball and then got hurt. And Trey Sermon out of all people, 17 carries for 88 yards, led the way. I mean, they were running hard. That Colts team was running hard all over that vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers defense that once was. Michael Pittman, 4 for 78. DJ Montgomery, 2 for 48 and a touchdown. I mean, Gardner was kind of spinning this ball kind of to everywhere. Pittsburgh's done, boys.
Yep.
I think so. I mean, like you said, they don't have a legit quarterback. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Mitch Trubisky, like how he even has a backup job is questionable to me. But yeah, they just I mean, Indianapolis exposed them too, bro. I mean, not just Sermon, but they just that Goodson kid ran hard for them too.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So they got run all over.
Their next 3 games are the Bengals, Seahawks, Ravens. They may not win any of those. They may not win.
Yeah, they could go 0-3. Easy.
Yep.
And then you're looking if they lose that one. So they lost to the Patriots. And So they're already on a 3-game losing streak. If they lose out, that's 6 in a row for a Mike Tomlin team, and obviously would not finish above 500.
You need a 3-game losing streak in weeks 2 through 4, not weeks 13 through 16 or whatever. You can't afford to lose 3 games at this time of year if you're fighting for a playoff spot. Can't do it.
True that. I mean, and granted, you know what I'm saying, he lost his quarterback or whatever, but I mean that's.
Well, I mean, they were giving up 900. Remember, they were getting outgained and they were still winning games. Well, guess what? The water's going to eventually level out, and now it's leveling out. You know,
I guarantee you, Mason Rudolph is the starting quarterback next week.
Yeah. Guaranteed. I mean, the defense can only be on the field for so long, but like I said, that Indianapolis might have showed, you know what I'm saying, their weakness too, would just run the ball on them, and then it kind of takes TJ Watt's, you know, rushing ability out of the game if you're just running on them constantly. So if you can't stop the run, it's hard to win football games, man.
Yeah.
Let's get into the evening game. I didn't watch much of this game. I turned it over to watch the UFC fights. Lions, Broncos. Lions absolutely roll 42-17. Maybe the Broncos are, to frame the late, great Denny Green, they are who we thought they were. Because now they are falling back after being a nice run. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were kind of like, hey, maybe the Broncos can catch the Chiefs. Well, we were all fucking idiots for ever having that thought in our eyes. Russell Wilson, 18-32, 223 yards, 1 touchdown. Samaje Perine, 6 for 37. I mean, there's nothing in the running game. Jerry Jeudy, 3 for 74. Cortland, 5 for 71. You get to the Lions. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns, 278 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 100 yards and a touchdown. Amon St. Brown, 7 for 112 and a touchdown. Sam Laporta, 5 for 56 and 3 touchdowns. He's advancing somebody's fantasy, Scott. Any thoughts here on the Lions Broncos?
Not mine. First of all, we've said it before. I'll say it again. Kudos to Tanner Dawson. He's been on Laporta since he got drafted. Number one. Number 2,
Kurt's dogs.
The Detroit Lions ran the ball like they should have, really, really well. And that set up Jared Goff to have a huge night, and he sure did. So Jared Goff in a dome is different than Jared Goff in December on the road. That's why I'm saying if they have to go to Philadelphia in January,
you got to live bet those teams. You got to live bet them.
You're right. If Jared Goff has to go to Philadelphia in January, like he might have to, it's going to be tough because he's not a cold weather quarterback. He's a guy that needs a warm weather situation to excel. So,
I mean, I agree with you on that point, but I think your first point about them running the ball is like the key. You know what I'm saying? They have one of the best offensive lines in football. You know what I'm saying? Gibbs for 100 yards, Montgomery 85 yards. They ran the ball 28 times for almost 200 yards. Like, you're going to win ball games if you can run the ball like that. You control the clock. You don't ask Jared Goff to do too much. And he was very efficient. And then, you know, Amon-Ra is one of the best wide receivers. He's probably one of the most underrated wide receivers in the entire NFL. And like you mentioned, Sam Laporta is a hell of a player. So between them and then the Jameson Williams kid is starting to develop a little better too. So Reynolds played well. Like, I like this Detroit team if they stick to who they are, run the ball, play action pass, you know what I'm saying, play good defense. They have a chance to win some games, but they needed a bounce back game after that, you know what I'm saying, that horror show last week. So good for Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. Then we get into Giants, Saints. I mean, Tommy DeVito got shaken up in this game, but he did come back in 20-34 for 177. Saquon only 9 carries for 14 yards. Darius Slayton 4 for 63. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson 4 for 24. Just a little bit of every place. No touchdowns, obviously. I mean, there was no magic here tonight. But Derek Carr, hey, you know what it was? You know why the Saints played so good? I saw this was sent to me. I think it was a TikTok. So Jameis Winston is out here giving like pregame good speeches, folks. I believe he sent. Was it
the E&Ws?
No. Okay. Here it is. So, so Jameis used a briefcase for today's motivational speech. He opened the case and there was nothing inside. That's what is between us and greatness, Jameis shouted, and jumps while pointing at his teammates. Nothing. That's why the Saints, baby, are cruising, because they're getting game-winning speeches made by Jameis Winston. That's why they keep Jameis on the roster, folks. It's not to be the backup quarterback because they'd rather have Taysom Hill do that, but it's to give motivational speeches. And that team went out there and they were like, you know what, Jameis? You're right. Nothing is between us and greatness. And we won 24-6. Derek Carr was truly inspired. 218 yards, 3 touchdowns. No Olave in this game. So the touchdowns went to 2 of them. One went to Juwan Johnson, one went to Jimmy Graham, and one went to Keith Kirkland. Man, nobody's fantasy wise, in this game.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Johnny, I mean, how were you inspired by what I just told you about Jameis Winston said to his team?
I mean,
it makes you want to jump off a cliff. You're ready to go die for this man, right?
Sure. I mean, props to Jameis Winston for playing his role in the team, because, like you mentioned, clearly it's not to throw passes, because they'd rather Taysom Hill play than him play. But the Saints desperately needed this game. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, as a Yankee fan, I listened to a lot of New York radio, but there was so much, and it was a great story, this whole, you know what I'm saying, Tommy DeVito thing, and, you know what I'm saying, great story, but, like, there were actual people talking about them making a run and shit, so.
I don't know about a run. I've said maybe he should, maybe he's better than Daniel Jones and should at least be considered the starter next year.
I mean, let them compete or whatever, but they need to find a legit quarterback up there, because I think Brian Daboll, for, you know what I'm saying, for all the slack he was taking earlier on in the season, he's made, chicken salad out of chicken spit. But I mean, I think he just came back down to reality, you know what I'm saying? And Derek Carr did what he had to do. The Saints, defended their home field and won a game that they should have won. A lot of good teams, slipped up against the Giants lately. So the Saints handled their business, and they're right there with Tampa Bay trying to compete for that horrible ass NFC South.
Did anybody hear if Saquon was hurt today? Every time that Red Zone went to this game, Matt Breida was on the field. Every time.
Well, they didn't go to it too many times, Scott, because the Giants were never really in the red zone.
No, I understand that, but every time, or I'm looking at the game cast, Matt Breida's on the field. What the heck were the Giants doing today?
Well, the Giants were like, fuck everybody's fantasy.
Exactly what it was.
I think a lot of teams were like that today.
They said, we ain't making the playoffs. You ain't making the playoffs. None of our players.
Exactly.
But what on earth were the Giants doing today? I have no idea what they were doing. They have too much faith in Tommy DeVito. There's a reason why he's a backup to the backup, because of performances like today. He's a third string guy. He gets in the games. He shows what he's got, which is not much against the NFL guys. I mean, it's a great story. Don't get me wrong. And NFC Player of the Week last week. Great story. But he fell completely back down to earth again today. So
I'm with you on that too. It was only 7-6 at halftime, bro.
Exactly.
Why aren't you running the ball more? So you know what I'm saying, that was
Nick, did you say he had 9 carries today?
9 carries, 14 yards.
Yeah.
You're 7-6 against that Saints team who is not that good, and you run them 9 times in the game. What the heck are you doing? What are you doing? I hope they come out that he's hurt. Saquon's hurt. Because if it doesn't come out he's hurt and he's fine, then Brian Daboll just screwed them out of any chance they had to make the playoffs.
They were going to make it anyway, Scott.
I know they weren't going to make it today, but if they win today, they're back to 6-8. A lot of the things they needed would have fell into place for them.
Yeah, you would have been over Green Bay because you're in the tiebreaker. You're almost kind of right. You're smelling it, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Brian Daboll said, "We ain't going to playoffs, boys. We're just going to run Saquon 9 times in the game."
Yeah. So let's get it.
Something's got to be up with that, but go ahead.
One team that had the comeback, we've been mentioning it throughout the show, and that was the Brownies. The Brownies scored 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to win 20-17 to get to 9-5. Bears fall to 5-9. Justin Fields, 19 of 40, 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Not much in the run game, no matter who it was for the Bears. Roshan Johnson, 5 for 36. Deontay Foreman, 6 carries for -6. In the receiving game, 4 receptions for DJ Moore. That was it. And then you get to the Browns. I mean, Joe Flacco, we said it. Hey, 3 interceptions before that fourth quarter. Then he turned it on. It was 20. They ended up with 28 of 44, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jerome Ford, 8 carries for 20 yards. Amari had 4 for 109 and a touchdown. David Njoku in that game made one hell of a catch for a touchdown, 10 for 104 and a touchdown. I mean, the Browns, Scott, find a way to come back and win this game and keep the Flacco dream alive. This team's still rolling. Somehow, some way, they find a way.
I said it last week. I'll say it again. He doesn't care whether he throws interceptions or not. Doesn't bother him. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing bothers this guy. He just puts his helmet down in back of the bench, sits down, gets back on the field next time, and leads a touchdown drive. He was phenomenal in that fourth quarter. He was. This reminds me of Joe Flacco, the Super Bowl year Joe Flacco.
Well, to me, Scott, you mentioned it. It's like nothing bothers because he's been at the lowest of low, right? He's been sitting on his mama's couch, waiting for the phone to ring. And he's been at the highest of highs. He won a fucking Super Bowl. It's the Super Bowl MVP, I believe, or led a team to the Super Bowl.
He is.
Right.
So like he has literally been at the highest of highest and the lowest of low. So what's the worst that they're gonna do to Joe Flacco? Cut him. Well,
right.
I've been there, done that. You know what I mean? What's the best thing that can happen? We win the Super Bowl. Why should I have done that too? So that was, you know what I mean? Like,
I am guaranteed. He wants to get the 5 seed and play the Ravens in the second round of the playoffs because he will get back at the Ravens. I'm guaranteeing you the Ravens are going to have a tough time with the Browns.
What if because could the Browns make it to the Super Bowl? I don't really know.
I mean, they have a
if
Super
they're playing
Bowl
a better
defense. They have a Super Bowl defense.
Yeah, if
I don't know.
If they're playing a better team than than the Bears and throws 3 picks, that's going to come back to cost you most of the time. Now, they do have a Super Bowl team, but what if the Browns I think they're going to make the playoffs. But what if they make the playoffs and then win a game or make it to the AFC Championship game? Do you bring Joe Flacco back even though you're paying Deshaun Watson all that money? Because Flacco to me look better in 2 games than 3 games, I guess, than Deshaun has in 10 games in the Browns.
He is the backup next year. He's the backup next year. No doubt in my mind. He's Deshaun Watson's backup next year. The Browns will sign him to a nice contract. He will be the backup because he's going to lead the Browns to the playoffs. They're almost a cinch to get in now, pretty much.
I mean, he's pretty much revived David Njoku's career, bro.
Yes.
Because you never heard nothing from David Njoku. You know what I'm saying? Like I would joke around about him having stone hands because he seemed to drop everything. But he's had a great stretch here. I mean, Joe Flacco.
He's not dropping passes from Joe Flacco.
Right.
Joe Cool.
And Joe Flacco has nothing to lose, bro. He has no pressure. He's out there just slinging it. He's having fun. You know what I'm saying? He's making plays there at the end. That Bears team, and I know Justin Fields 19 for 40 looks horrible, but the kid was literally running for his life, bro.
Yeah.
Like
their
every
offensive line's
single
atrocious.
play is just horrible, which again is to my point where build around this kid and maybe he'll be able to show you a little something more. But as far as the Browns, man, with that defense, they can run the ball. Joe Flacco, like I said, he's playing carefree. They're gonna scare somebody. Come playoff time. You're saying again, like you mentioned, you throw 3 picks against a good team, you ain't gonna win that game. But we'll see what happens. It's a great story. He's a vet. You know what I'm saying? If he ain't the backup in Cleveland, somebody's going to give him some money to be a backup somewhere, if not a starting spot. There's so many bad quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
That's what I was going to say. If anything this year has proven is that, man, you got to have a good backup quarterback because you look at the 2 teams that are still surviving with a backup quarterback in Cincinnati, who we mentioned. We just talked about Jake Browning and the Browns and Joe Flacco. Like, man, you know what I mean? Like, you got to have a good backup too. Like, not only do you need to have a good starter, but you probably want to have a good backup because they can win you some games.
At least a veteran guy, you know what I'm saying? Even, you know what I'm saying, the game that Mullins had. Nick Mullins, you know what I'm saying? He's had several starts under his belt. That's why, you know what I'm saying, I have no idea why the New York Jets thought it was a good idea to have Zach Wilson be the backup to Aaron Rodgers, bro. Like what we are like that could probably cost people their jobs if it wasn't for the fact that Aaron Rodgers runs that organization now. So he's gonna want Robert Saleh and everybody back. Otherwise, like everybody there deserves to be fired for just for thinking that was a good idea to keep Zach Wilson as the backup.
My last thing on this game, we talk about Mike Evans is underrated. How about Amari Cooper is one of the most underrated receivers?
Yeah,
well, he's another one. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying? Like
goes quietly about his business.
Yeah, I mean Deshaun Watson had a couple good games or whatever, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying, with DTR and PJ, like these guys weren't much of a factor. You get an actual veteran quarterback that knows what he's doing, and then Njoku's making plays, Amari Cooper's making plays. Like
it's funny though, like Scott, you mentioned about Joe Flacco. Like this is exactly what he had in Baltimore the year they won it.
Mm-hmm.
They had a really good elite receiver in Aquan Bolden, aka now Amari Cooper. The tight end was it Todd Heap, I think, at that time.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were always churning out good tight ends, before even Mark Andrews got there. And it's like, oh, now we got a good tight. Like this is perfect. This is exactly we got a really good defense. This is exactly Joe Flacco type. Hey, I got a really good wide receiver, and
that's the crazy thing about the AFC this year is that 5, 6, and 7 teams are going to be tough, bro.
Yeah,
they're going to be tough.
And here's the other thing: the Ravens with Lamar as quarterback have not proven to me that they can win in the playoffs. So,
right, especially against top tier defenses.
Yeah.
So, watch out.
One team is. We'll get into the next game. Not a whole lot to talk about in this game at all. That is Atlanta, Carolina. Carolina wins 9-7. I thought it was 6-7, but there was one touchdown in this game. Carolina got to 6 points in the fourth quarter to win 9-7. In a monsoon. The game was in a monsoon, so we'll credit that. But Atlanta, I mean, if you're a Bijan Robinson owner in fantasy, whoo! Yeah, he cost some people today, and he might have cost my guy I'm playing against. He got negative 0.6 in our fantasy league. But he went 7 for 11. Tyler Algier 14 for 45. Desmond Ridder 152 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jonnu 2 catches for 61. Kyle Pitts 3 for 37. Drake London only had 2 catches. There's nothing to talk about the Panthers, folks. They didn't do much besides kick some field goals. But the Panthers interim coach gets his first one of the year, and the Falcons are on the crumble as far as outside, looking in.
Arthur Smith, good luck in your future endeavors next year because you just blew your job with today's performance. It's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Absolutely.
He's done.
I don't know how you lose to it like that team.
You lose to a 1-12 team, bro. A 1-12 team, and you're playing for your playoff lives for possibly the division. And this is the type of I don't care if it was a freaking monsoon, bro.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find a way to win that game. There's a lot of shit in the ATL, which could come up later on in a segment that we have, but I got a stat that I'm going to hold on for that.
Okay.
Snap.
Okay. Here's the deal. You have a stud in Bijan Robinson, and you're not using him. You'd rather run Tyler Algier. Well, what the hell did you draft Bijan for? What did you draft him for? To have him sit on the bench in a pouring rainstorm? And have Desmond Ridder throw the ball? Come on. Arthur Smith, he needs to be gone today. Needs to be gone tonight. So
yeah, they're not. A couple weeks ago, man, they looked like they could make the playoffs and win that division. Yep. Speaking of winning that division, the team that's likely to win that division is none other than Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. 34-20.
If you don't want to talk about this game, we could pass it
over the Green Bay Packers. I mean, Baker, like I said, Baker looked like Tom Brady out there. Let me read Baker's stat line for y'all. 22 of 28, 381 yards, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fucking touchdowns. Rashad White, 21 carries for 89 yards. Chris Godwin, 10 for 155. David Moore, 6 for 68 and a touchdown. They did hold Mike Evans to only 4 for 57 and a touchdown. Rashad White also caught 2 balls for 50 yards and a touchdown. The Packers defense is atrocious. This was not Jordan Love's fault. 29-39, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, nice comeback, 13 carries for 53 yards. just not much in the like. There's just nobody to throw the ball to in Green Bay right now. It seems like. I mean, he's throwing it to everybody. I mean, 6 for 97 for Deontay Wicks, 4 for 57 for Tucker Kraft, 6 for 52 and a touchdown for Jaden Reed, 3 for 30 for Dobbs. Malik Heath caught 3 for 29. I mean, this loss is not at all on Jordan Love. I solely blame this loss on Joe Barry and the fucking Packers defense.
No doubt, you made Baker, as you said, Mayfield look like Tom Brady today. You basically said David Moore. Who's David Moore? And he's 6 for 62 or whatever he got.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Evans did nothing. Chris Godwin handled the bulk of the load today. Rashad White, he's a beast. He's a complete beast. And he's going to win teams their fantasy leagues, number one. And number two, if Tampa's got this kind of running game, they're another team that's dangerous to the Cowboys in first week of the playoffs.
So Tampa
last year.
Tampa's next 3 games are the Jags, who are currently losing right now. They got the Saints. That'll be the big one in 2 weeks. Who wins that division? Saints, Bucks in 2 weeks. And they got the Panthers. So in 2 weeks' time, that Christmas Eve or New Year's Day or New Year's Eve game, Saints Bucks will be huge.
They're guaranteed 2 out of the last 3 wins, and then the other game, which Saints team is going to show up against the Buccaneers? That's the question.
The Saints' next 3 are the Rams. The Rams that's on Thursday, so they got everything to play for
at LA. So they have to go cross country in a short week. That's going to be tough.
Then they got the Bucks and then the Falcons.
Well, they'll beat the Falcons.
I don't know. I mean, the Falcons just beat them 2 weeks ago. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah, the Falcons might be cleared out for the season by that time. So their headspace might be gone. But if they lose to the Rams and the Bucks win against the Jags this coming week,
and both them teams, that's a must-win game for both them teams, Saints and Rams. But Rams are in the playoff hunt, and we'll get to them in a little bit too.
Sure is. Yeah. I think the Bucks win the division. I really do.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Godwin. You know what I'm saying? A big game today. He needed a big game like that. We talked a little bit about it before the show, Nick. I thought Jordan Love played well. There's nothing he can't play defense as well.
No, but he would score a touchdown, get us within a score, and then the fucking defense like, oh, we'll just fucking let you guys score. We'll just let Tampa march right down the field and score another touchdown.
Right, but yeah, Baker Mayfield. I mean,
I'm not blaming Jordan Love on any of these losses.
No.
You know, the last 2 he's played good, decent football. He's played winnable football games. It's not on him. It's on the coaching.
Yep. But the Bucks definitely needed this. Like you mentioned, they lost to those woolly Atlanta Falcons a couple weeks ago. So they needed this win bad to stay atop of the division. They have a chance. You say their defense played okay. You say I'm not gonna say they played great because, like we just mentioned, Jordan Love. Played well against them. But if they can establish the running game, that's been the theme. If you can establish your running game and then kind of play off of that, you have a chance to win games, especially at this time of year and into the playoffs. So, props to Baker Mayfield on a great game and Godwin, 10 for 155. And Mike Evans, like you mentioned, he didn't have a great game, but he just gets in the end zone, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He makes that play when they need him to make the play. So shout out to the Bucks and stuff. 7-7. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens when they play the Saints. I think they beat the Saints. I think the Bucks wind up winning the division.
Yeah, they're getting better, it seems like, or the defense, too. One team that didn't see the end zone, that was the Jets. They did have to bring in Trevor Siemian, and Zach Wilson got a concussion in that game. It was reported before the game that Aaron Rodgers could play next week if they win. But with the loss, the Jets are officially eliminated from playoff contention. As we look at the playoff, they are eliminated. So they're out after today's. But Dolphins roll 30-6. No need to read anybody's Jets offensive line because there was no offense. So everybody who drafted the likes of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson, sorry about it. I mean, Dalvin Cook, 1 carry for 4 yards today. Jesus. And then you get into the Dolphins. Dolphins did what Dolphins do, 21-24, even without Tyreek. 21-24, 224 yards, 1 touchdown for Tua. Raheem Mostert, 15 for 42, 2 touchdowns. I mean, we couldn't let Achane get a touchdown here. 9 carries for 32 for Achane. Jalen Waddle 8 for 142 and a touchdown. I mean, Scott, you said he doesn't throw to Waddle. He threw to Waddle today.
Well, Waddle went out of the game. Well, he had no choice. First of all, he had to throw to Waddle. I have no comments throwing to Braxton Berrios. Number one. Number two, Waddle went out of the game early, and then came back in and performed like a beast. I mean, when Tyreek comes back, it's going to be all about Tyreek because he's
trying to get that 2,000.
Yeah. So it's going to be all about him. But the Dolphins showed today. I know the Jets are not a great team, but the Dolphins showed today they imposed their will on defense. And on offense, they did just enough. Tua didn't have a phenomenal game. He had a solid game. So that, to me, it was Jalen Waddle had a huge game. So,
Johnny, is it true? I didn't watch much of this game, but I thought Red Zone said they didn't even get past the first half. The Jets didn't
get past the 50-yard line until the third quarter.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It was a bye week. Like I said to Johnny, it was a bye week.
Yeah, I think they only had 3 yards of offense in the first half.
Yep.
The Jets.
Yeah.
So.
Is Aaron Rodgers the only person that can run Hackett's offense or something? Like, what the hell's like? That's bad. Yeah, you got Brees. I understand that Trevor Simeon's the quarterback, the backup, so he's really like their third or fourth stringer, or whatever. After Zach got a concussion, it's not like Zach lights the world on fire either. He played great last week. Was offensive player of the week, but I mean, you can't get past. We're professional athletes playing professional athletes, and you got talent like Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall on your team. We can't get past the 50-yard line and a half.
Since the Jets are eliminated, welcome to the Trevor Simeon experience. I don't think Zach Wilson plays another down this year.
I don't know. He might as well play him out. He played great.
He doesn't. He don't want to play, bro. Not behind that offensive line, bro. Like we have some issues on our offensive line with injuries, but that Jets offensive line, he literally had no time to throw the ball, bro.
Yeah.
Like they were going nuts. Chubb went off today with 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and he recovered 1. Like I think everybody on the defensive line had a sack, at least 1 sack. Yeah. So they went after.
Well, that's why I said I don't want Aaron to play. Really, I've said that. Even though me and Scott were talking about it, they got a game. He could have played this week, and then next week they play a tough team. I forget who it was on a short week.
Browns.
I think the Browns. And I was like, God, you don't want to do that to Aaron.
Nah, if anything, Aaron, you know what I'm saying, the last week of the season, you come out for one series just to say, look, I did it because he's all about himself. Let's not front. You know what I'm saying? So he would love to be able to say, oh, I'm the only person that ever came back from an Achilles the same season and played. Yeah, but bro, I've been saying it for weeks. Like, don't risk it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're basically risking next season if something happens to him this late in this season. So behind that offensive line, don't even bother doing it. The Dolphins did what they had to do. The best thing I like about this is Tua hit 8 different receivers. There was a lot of talk this whole week about, the offense kind of going to shit when Tyreek wasn't in there. Mike McDaniel made some adjustments, put in a different game plan to kind of spread the ball around. Yeah, Jalen Waddle was the main dude, but he should be the main guy. You know what I'm saying? He's the 1A receiver. But like you mentioned, he went out the game early. And you know what I'm saying? Tua just hit whatever was there. You know what I'm saying? Whoever was open, he just, checked it down if he had to check it down. There were a couple plays. I know Dolphin fans were going nuts. Oh, he needs to get rid of the ball. Because there were a couple of times where he kind of just he basically just dropped down and took the sack, which I'm fine with, bro. Don't take any unnecessary hits. You know what? Peyton Manning made a living doing that. Tom Brady made a living doing that. Dan Marino, you know what I'm saying? They don't like getting hit. Why take any unnecessary hits? If you know that you're going to get sacked, just go down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with that. We ran the ball, you know what I'm saying, quite a bit. Not, we only averaged like 3-point-something yards a carry, but we kept on running the ball, especially towards the end of that game. But Tua was efficient, effective. But this defense, and we didn't have Xavier Howard, we didn't have Javon Holland, we didn't have Deshaun Elliott. We had, you know what I'm saying, backup safeties, a backup
offensive line's all banged up too.
And our offensive line is all banged up too. And we still, dropped the 30 burger on them on that Jets defense that everybody, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they do have a good defense, but we did what we had to do. And then defensively, we are getting right. So if we can get guys back healthy, our defense may be what we need to lead us. Because if we're too Tyreek focused, and I understand the whole 2,000 yards thing, hopefully they're realizing, like I mentioned, I made a comment, shout out to my son Jonathan. I made a comment to him. Hopefully that embarrassment on Monday night was exactly what this team needed to kind of humble them and kind of galvanize them to, we need to get right and be focused when we go out there. They were focused today, handled their business, and beat down an inferior opponent.
Yeah, they said that. They said that woke them up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
One question: are we overrating the Jets' defense? I don't. They're not a shutdown defense in my mind.
I don't know if they're. I think it's a little overrated.
They're on the field.
When you're out there on the field every 4 plays, you know what I mean. It makes it. When you got a fucking offense that can't get past the 50-yard line, I would be like, yo, fuck this.
Yeah, it's crazy if you seriously think about it. Like Nick just said, you're out there every 4 plays. Because I think they might have had like 2 first downs in the first half, maybe 3. So yeah, every 4 or 5 plays, you're back out on the field. That's wild.
The team can't get past the 50-yard line, Scott. That's not on the defense. That's on offense.
Yeah, that's true. Right. But I mean, you only have.
I understand what you're saying. You may want to put a safety over top of Jalen Waddle and stop acting like you don't know who Jalen Waddle is because he done burnt. What I'm saying? Read like nothing. But that defensive line is a good defensive line. They sacked Tua a couple times or whatever, but for the most part, yeah, you can't be on the field 40 minutes or whatever the hell. It was some crazy
37. I just looked
That's insane.
That's ridiculous.
Dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
Let's get into the next one. It was a get-right game for the Chiefs. They were down 10-7 in this game, and then they outscored the Patriots 20-7 the rest of the way. Patrick Mahomes, 27-37, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One of those interceptions was, not Tyreek, but what's his name? Why is his name escaping my head? Kadarius Toney. It bounced off his arms about 5 times, and it was intercepted. So that was on Toney, but the interception goes to Patty. CEH, 13 carries for 37 yards. He did catch a ball for a touchdown, made an incredible catch. Rashee Rice, nice game, 9 receptions, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. He is the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver in this offense for sure. Travis Kelce, man, 5 for 28. He has not looked right. A couple times in this game, it looked like he just could not get it going. And then Bailey Zappi, 180 for 1 touchdown, 1 reception. Kelce got banged up in this game and was taken out. I didn't hear exactly. I think he went back in, but
he did come back in.
Yeah, Zeke, 11 carries, 25 yards. I mean, this offense to the Patriots is inept. Hunter Henry, 7 for 66. So, Scott, you got anything you want to talk about here? I called this on Thursday. I said this is a perfect get-right game here for the Chiefs.
When Kevin Harris is your leading rusher in the game, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Serious trouble. Ooh. I mean, the Chiefs weren't dropping passes today like usual. They were catching the ball. Kadarius Toney. They after the season, goodbye. See you later. He's not the receiver that he's complete bust. That's why the Giants got rid of him, I think, because they knew he wasn't a receiver they could count on. He just needs to go. I mean, I said it to Tanner. Tanner said you can't cut him now. He's owed too much money. Yeah. After the season, I think you just need to eat the contract and say, see you later, buddy. He needs to go someplace else. He's not a good receiver.
They don't have. I mean, Rashee Rice is the best. The rookie is the best receiver they have on the roster.
The last 2 games, Andy Reid has finally decided to use Rashee Rice in the capacity that he should be used, and he's excelled. So I think that Travis Kelce, I don't know what's going on with him. He's banged up more than he's letting on. I'm telling you, I said it this morning. I'll say it again. It would not surprise me after the Chiefs are eliminated that it comes out that he needs to have surgery on a hip or leg or shoulder, whatever it may be.
Didn't he mention earlier in the season too about thoughts of retirement and stuff like that? So I mean, once you're thinking about it or talking about it, I mean, you already got one foot out the door. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's got his 2 rings. Now he's got his, superstar girlfriend or whatever. Maybe he's just kind of, trying to get through the season, especially if he is banged up a little bit. But Rashee Rice actually caught the ball today. That's the only difference, really, from the last, because he's actually had a few weeks that he's put together here of some decent numbers. So he's turning out to be a pretty good wide receiver. So hopefully he'll continue to develop. But I'm with you on the Toney thing. I think that experiment is done.
Yeah. He's the Giants. When the Giants get rid of a guy that said he's got troubles, I feel like that's a telltale sign. Maybe.
Here's the thing with me in the offseason. Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce in the middle, Mike Evans on the other side.
Stop
Patrick
putting that shit
Mahomes
into the
would be
universe,
back.
bro.
Patrick Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes would be back to the elite guy that he's shown the first few years. He hasn't. The reason why he's not elite is because the guys keep dropping balls on him.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean, he's still elite. You know what I'm saying? He's not having an elite. I mean,
he's
set
not
the
having
bar.
Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean?
He set the bar. He set the bar so
high
high that you know he's not having his typical year, but he's still having a good season. He can't he can't catch the ball too, like Giselle said. You know what I'm saying? He can't catch the ball too. So
no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
but
no
doubt.
But he showed today.
You know
he showed today in stretches because I watched most of the game that he is the leader on that team and he is trying to take control of that team. He did show it today, which is something in a positive direction that the Chiefs need going down the stretch here. So,
one thing I'm looking forward to as well, homeboy has not played a road playoff game in his career.
He's gonna have to this year.
And the shit is that it don't matter who he's gonna go play. You know that team is like, damn. You know what I'm saying? We're the ones that got, you know what I'm saying, Patrick Mahomes coming to our house. So it's gonna be interesting to see, but it'll be nice to actually see him play a playoff game.
Like just gave it to him. Did you? I mean, I don't know if you guys got the game on, but he was running. He just like T-Law, Trevor Lawrence.
God.
So John,
I guess I whammy on him this year.
Let me ask you: if the Chiefs are the 3 seed and you're the 2 seed, are you nervous about Mahomes coming into Miami?
I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes, but I'd rather it be in Miami than to have to go to Arrowhead.
No doubt. You know
what I'm saying?
You won't have to go to London.
Right. You know what I'm saying? I would feel. I mean, you know, he came down to, you know, I know that we lost the Germany game, but I mean that was a winnable game for us, to be quite honest. Yeah. And then a couple years ago, in Tua's first or second year. I mean, he was matching Patrick Mahomes in that game, and then we just couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes, so he fell behind and threw a couple picks in the fourth quarter. But Tua was balling in that game against him, so I like our chances obviously better at home. But like I said, depending on health, I like our roster and our chances, especially the way the defense has been playing lately.
Yeah, I said this is the most adverse team that Patrick Mahomes has been on. Everything is a struggle. We talked with Ken this morning about it.
Yeah.
A team that was also eliminated today, and that was the Tennessee Titans. It seemed like they were absolute control of this game until late in the fourth quarter. Here come the Texans. Texans win 19-16. Case Keenum, 229 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Devin Singletary, I mean, he broke through some big runs, especially in overtime. 26 carries, 121 yards. Remember, he was left for dead in Buffalo, and now he's out. He's their number one starter. He's better than Damian Pierce. Noah Brown, 8 for 82 and a touchdown. Dalton Schultz, 4 for 58. He made some incredible catches in this game too. And then the Titans, Will Levis, 199 yards, 1 interception. Tajay Spears, 9 carries, 30 yards. Derrick Henry, 16 carries for only 9 yards. He did talk about after the game, like this is probably could be his last year in Tennessee. This might be Derrick Henry's last. He looks like him and Dalvin.
He'll go somewhere and be a number 2.
Him and Dalvin Cook might be a scary out the league next year.
He could go to Atlanta and team with Bijan and Tyler Algier.
Bro, go to South Beach and go hang out with your boy Tua that you played in college with, and the speed.
They didn't play together in college.
Whatever. They played for the same. They played for the same college. So go down to. Would I take Derrick Henry on a 1-year whatever deal? Yes, absolutely. You put him with Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert. Our short yardage would actually be a little bit better, possibly. I mean, you ain't gonna want Derrick Henry to be your feature back. I think that's done.
And I want to give this stat out to about the Texans defense. They had 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks in this game.
Sacks. Yep, 11 hits on 26 dropbacks for Levis.
That's wild.
D'Amico Ryan's wrapped up Coach of the Year today with this win. He's Coach of the Year. He is. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Who did they have on offense today besides Dalton Schultz? Nobody.
Yeah, that's
and
wild.
They won the game.
They won with a bunch of backups. I mean, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it.
Case Keenum, again, a veteran backup. You know what I'm saying?
Case. I mean, but it's not even. It wasn't even no C.J. Stroud. It was no
wide receiver,
Takedown, no Nico Collins. Like, Dalton Schultz was the only guy he could throw to, and they found a way to beat the. I mean,
you mentioned it. Devin Singletary went buck for them today.
Yeah,
that Tennessee Titan. I mean, what a crushing loss, man.
That is the worst loss. Could be the worst loss of the year by any team.
I think Miami just said, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
That Monday night game was pretty bad.
But the thing is look at the circumstances. No CJ Stroud, no Takedown, no Nico Collins. Running game isn't that good.
Yeah.
And
Devin Singletary ran all over him.
Going into the game.
Oh, going into the game, yeah.
Houston.
Can this Texans team make the playoffs? I mean, we're looking at it. We talked about it kind of at the top. Like, they got the Browns Texans next week's the most important. I think
you talk about what's going on with Jacksonville. I mean, the Texans could win the division.
Well, I think loser the Texans Browns game probably sees themselves out of the playoffs next week.
If it's the Browns, I wouldn't say that.
But Texans
the Browns
for sure.
95. Yeah, the Texans have to win next week. If they win next week, they're in.
Then they got the Titans again, and then the Colts.
That's what I'm saying. So one or two of them is going to get knocked out. They're going to wind up knocking each other out.
They are the 8th seed right now. So 7 teams get in, right? Am I right?
Yeah, 7 teams.
So I mean, they are one game. They're half. Really, the Colts are right there with the Bills right behind Houston as well. So
the Texans Colts game in Week 18 could be the elimination game.
I mean, like I said, that's why it's so important for the Texans to beat the Browns next week.
Yep,
I mean that's why this game was huge.
Yeah,
this was huge for the Texans.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's a game you think, hey, we probably lose this game. We're out. Right. We're probably maybe the Titans are getting some momentum. I'm not saying playoffs, but
that's why as much as people are Buffalo, but like Buffalo has to worry about all these teams that are in front of them.
Yeah, but you got to handle business. And I would say I like Buffalo playing the way Buffalo's playing. I put my money on them.
I hear you on that, but I'm just saying, like, there's scenarios where
if it's Buffalo, Houston, if it's Buffalo, Houston, or Indy, I'm still taking Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, but I'm just saying if Buffalo cannot slip up.
And Johnny, what if that's the no? They can't. What if that's the scenario though? What if it's Week 17? Buffalo wins that game, then they would have to turn around. Miami's the 2 seed. Maybe Miami's the 2 seed, and they got to turn around and play Buffalo again because Buffalo would be the 7th seed. Unless it's the Chiefs.
That's why Week 18 is gonna because if Miami, let's just say Miami splits over the next 2 weeks with Dallas and Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
Buffalo,
and then that Buffalo game would be basically. If the Dolphins win, they win a division, but Buffalo could either get knocked out depending on what happens with those other teams, or be the number 7 seed, and they could wind up playing again.
Dolphins got to win out too to get that 2 seed, right? Because I mean, Kansas City. I mean, they got the easiest schedule remaining. I mean, they got the Bengals in there, but the Raiders, and then the Chiefs.
So here's the deal with the Dolphins. Okay, the Dolphins have to play Dallas next week, a pissed off Dallas team. That's not going to be easy, but I think Miami can beat Dallas at Miami. Then they're going to basically play Week 17. They're playing for the 1 seed against Baltimore.
At Baltimore.
At Baltimore.
Yeah.
If they lose that game, then they may be playing for their playoff lives in Week 18 against Buffalo, because Buffalo would be 1 game in back or tied with them, 1 game and back or tied. If Buffalo beats Miami in Week 18, Buffalo wins the division because they beat Miami twice.
Yeah, I think Miami would still be in the playoffs. They would probably fall to the number 7 seed because I think Miami has all the tiebreakers against all those teams that Buffalo doesn't have. That's why I'm saying if Miami is to slip in one of these next 2 weeks, let it be next week against Dallas. So that way you got that conference win against Baltimore. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But after seeing the stats of, I mean, I'm sure we're going to get to that game in a little bit, but, Buffalo kind of showed the game plan on what you need to do to Dallas as far as that defense.
Yep. Let's get into one team that's not slipping. That's the 49ers. I've said, hey, from for about 3 weeks now. 49ers best is better than everybody else's best. And they proved it today. 45-29 over the Cardinals. Brock Purdy, who's now the front runner for MVP as far as odd-wise, 16-25, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey, 18 for 115 and a touchdown. McCaffrey caught 5 balls, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, Scott, next year he might be the number 1 overall pick in fantasy. He might be got that back now. 4 for 48 and 2 touchdowns. You look at the Cardinals. Kyler, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. James Conner, 14 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. And then Trey McBride, 10 for a 102. It was pretty much it for the Arizona Cardinals passing game. You guys got anything other to add here other than, 49ers are the best fucking team in football?
No, they're not champions as far as I'm concerned. I don't think
I mean, I think they're the best team in the NFC. I'm not gonna give them the Super Bowl title right now, but they're the most complete team you can say in the NFL.
Yeah. Arizona officially eliminated from the playoffs too today.
The most consistent right now after that 3-game losing streak. They've just been stomping everybody. My dumbass actually thought Arizona could keep it with, could cover, which was dumb. But no, San Francisco looks good, man. If they can stay healthy, there was a little scare with McCaffrey and his knee a little earlier in the game, but he's incredible, bro. I mean, like Carolina, bro, like whatever you got for him was not enough, bro. Because he has been such a difference maker to that San Francisco lineup.
To me, him and Tyreek should be more MVP consideration than Brock Purdy.
Well, I mean, and I would honestly lean a little bit more towards Tyreek only because how much more San Francisco has. You know what I'm saying? And I like what Miami has with Waddle and with Raheem Mostert and Achane, but you're talking about Christian McCaffrey, you talk about Debo, Ayuk, George Kittle, one of the best offensive lines. Like that San Francisco team is stacked on offense. And I mean, and the kid is playing well, it's props to Brock Purdy or whatever, but like there's not much rush on that kid, bro. If you watch the games, bro, like he's not under that much pressure. So you know what I'm saying? And hey, they built the team that way, so props to them or whatever. He's making the plays he needs to make. 4 touchdowns off of only 16 completions. That's insane, man. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey, he's fun to watch, bro. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Scott, you got anything to add about 49ers here?
The 49ers are more explosive. Debo has turned his game up another 2 or 3 levels. Mm-hmm. And if he keeps doing this, they're much more explosive. They're a 35 to 45 point team every week. And who's going to compete with that? Well, really, who is going to compete with that?
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't see anybody. Their defense gave up 29 today, but a lot of that was garbage time to the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals went down, scored first drive of the game. San Francisco said, okay, we're going to have a little game here early. And they came down, scored the next 14, and that was it. The ball game was over. I mean, come on. I mean, they're on another level. They just are. They're the best team in the NFL, and I don't even know if it's close.
That's how I feel too, Scott. I know everybody else I feel like has flaws and that they can beat on any given Sunday. I think fully healthy, I don't know if there's a team that can beat this 49ers team.
Who's going into San Francisco and NFC playoffs and beating them? Nobody. Dallas showed they can't hang with them in San Francisco. Philadelphia.
Fully healthy, I don't think so either. I think you're right. When they're fully healthy. We got to, those 3 games that they lost, there was no Trent, no Debo.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I mean it's crazy because like you just mentioned, they lost those 3 games when they had their couple injuries. Like they've been one of the healthier teams, all year. You know what I'm saying? So props to them, man. But yeah, fully healthy. I see them representing the NFC.
I mean, Debo didn't have a great game. He had 2 touchdowns, but he didn't have a game he's had the last.
Every week it's somebody different. Today was CMC.
Right.
Next week it's going to be Ayuk. 1 week it's Kittle.
That's
next
what makes
week
them dangerous, bro.
Yes,
that's what makes them so dangerous.
And Brock Purdy he is playing the perfect point guard to this team.
This is what Kyle Shanahan says before the game. Hey, you guys forgot about CMC? Let me show you CMC. Oh, you guys.
And kudos to all these guys being unselfish, like to everybody
right.
to buy in.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like we're see all these guys. Hey, I want mine. I got to be number one.
I mean, they this is pretty much the same team minus the quarterback that went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago and had it right there and lost to Kansas City. So they, what I'm saying, they're eager to get back there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I like that San Francisco team a lot, man. They're scary good, bro.
Yeah.
They are.
Bet them now for Super Bowl champion, because guess what? In about 2 weeks, their odds are going to go to minus money, not plus money. So.
We get into the next one. It's the Rams 28-20 here. The Rams win, gets a 7-7, and they're in the playoffs right now. Sam Howell, 15-26, 102 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jacoby Brissett came in, 8 for 10, 124, 2 touchdowns. I didn't catch it much of this game. Did Howell get hurt? Is that why Brissett came in?
Yeah, I think he did. I didn't catch it either.
Yeah,
Terry now as we talk.
Terry McLaurin, 6 for 141 and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, 5 for 41 and 2 touchdowns. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams continues to impress, 27 carries, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 8 of 111 and a touchdown. Puka Nacua, 5 for 50, and Demarcus Robinson had 2 for 44 and a touchdown. Johnny, any thoughts here? I mean, Rams, to me, I know we talked about the Texans coach and D'Amico Ryan being coach of the year, but man, it could be, I think Sean Payton could be coach of the year. This is doing his best coaching job.
Sean McVay.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I think he's doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? Considering they've had to deal with a bunch of injuries to
injuries in the they lost so many players, and
right.
And they haven't had it's not like they replenished with draft picks either, like early round draft picks. They're finding guys late.
Right. But they definitely have championship pedigree. Matthew Stafford, when healthy, is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You got Cooper Kupp, who's one of the better wide receivers in the league when healthy. They discovered Puka Nacua, who's a good player, a really good player. And this Williams kid is a dog, bro. You would say 27 carries, 152 and a touchdown. If Matthew Stafford if he doesn't turn the ball over and they're able to run the ball, their defense is good enough to kind of compete. Like I said, they've been there before, so they know what it takes to win. They're going to be a scary out if they make it.
Sam Howell was benched at halftime.
I was going to say his numbers look pretty ugly. Did he get benched? So what are you doing, Ron Rivera? Like, you think that's going to save your job, bro?
No, he's fired. He's dead man walking.
Let the kid play, bro.
Sam Howell has been really good this year on a bad Washington team. And because he has a bad first half, you say, oh, you're benched. We're going to go with
maybe we should worry about the defense, Ron. That's what you've been calling.
Not only that, but you got to imagine the team is looking at him like seriously? You're benching this kid when this kid's, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, even though this kid existed a year ago, Ron.
Right.
Another coach who outsmarts himself and outthinks himself, Ron Rivera.
Yes,
well, he'll be fired. Ron's a dead man walking.
He's gone too. Yep. Well, I mean, the Rams should have. I don't understand what went on today with the Rams defense. They should have just completely blown out the Commanders, and they let them hang around the game and almost lost.
Yeah, it got a little too interesting.
It got a little dicey at the end.
We'll see what happens with the Commanders do if they go Jacoby or they go.
Back to Howell.
Nah, you got to put Sam Howell back in. Bro.
Yeah, you got to go back to Howell.
I don't think it matters either way, but
I hear you, but I'm just saying, let the kid keep developing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I mean, what is he, number 2 in yards? You know what I'm saying. So, I mean, he's putting up numbers. You know what I'm saying. He had a bad first half, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, everybody has a bad half of play.
Yeah, and like Nick said, how about you play a little bit of defense? How about that?
A team that really stunk up the joint today, that was the Cowboys. They lose 31-10. We mentioned at the top of the start, Dak Prescott, only 134 yards, 1 interception. Tony Pollard, only 11 carries for 52 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 7 for 53. Jake Ferguson, 6 for 44. After they looked so damn good last week, they fell apart this week. Josh Allen didn't play great. I mean, 715, 94, only 94 yards passing, 1 touchdown. But by God, did James Cook have himself a game? 25 carries, 179 yards, and 1 touchdown for the man that is James Cook. Stephon Diggs, 4 for 48. James Cook also caught 2 balls and scored a touchdown. This was the James Cook show, Scott.
Yeah, it was. The reason why Josh Allen 94 yards, James Cook had 250 all-purpose yards today. I mean, last week, this is what I said Monday night when we came on the LTS show. Allen said that the Cowboys looked good, very good last week. They kicked 5 or 6 field goals. They didn't look good, their offense. They stalled out in the red zone. They were kicking field goals. Today,
it looked great, but in between the 20s.
In between the 20s. Today, they go to Buffalo in a game that they need to win to stay in first place in the NFC East. If Philadelphia, pending the Philadelphia outcome, and they completely laid an egg. Dak looked like rode Jared Goff today. They're not going to – they may win their playoff game against the NFC South winner. They're not beating San Francisco. They're not beating Philadelphia in the playoffs because Dak can't lead them in a big game to wins. He can't do it. He's an overrated quarterback. He showed today why he'll never win a Super Bowl in Dallas because he can't lead them to a big win at Buffalo. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I've never been that high on Dak. I mean, I thought he was a good quarterback. I thought he was having a good season. I know there was a lot of MVP talk. Well, that kind of went out the window.
Yep.
There. I know a lot of talk about Buffalo. I love James Cook coming out in the draft. I so hated the fact that Buffalo drafted his ass, and now they're actually using him because he is a stud. This kid is a great two-way. I mean, he can run. Obviously, 25 carries for 179. He can catch the ball. He made a great one-handed catch for that touchdown today. Buffalo, stomps people out, and it's we mentioned this earlier. They seem to play to their level of competition. So I know they have 2 easy games coming up, and that Chargers, just forget about it. There's no way they're gonna lose to the Chargers. But don't sleep. Don't sleep.
Don't say that. This
right.
Not in this league. Not this league. Not this year, Johnny.
I hear you. I'm with you on that. But be careful with the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's the Patriots and whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, they seem to play down to their competition and they play up to their competition as well. That they were hyped for this game. Is that game in New England?
It's in Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo. So forget about that.
Yep.
Sorry. Sorry about that. But nah, man. I mean, Buffalo's looking good. Like I said, if Buffalo gets into the playoffs, they're gonna be a scary out for anybody. But at the same time, Josh Allen could turn around and throw 3 picks. But if they actually decide that they're gonna run the ball and the defense plays as aggressive as they played today, they're gonna be a tough team to beat, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird to me that they have 6 losses. You know what I'm saying? But it just goes to show this is, like you said, Nick, this is one of those seasons, man. You never know. You never know. Nobody's. I mean, what the Raiders scored 0 last week, and then
46 on Thursday. Yeah,
63, bro.
63.
Get it right. Get it right. 63. don't cut them short. 17 points, bro. 60 a lot, bro. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So hopefully, Dallas is still hanging their heads when they come down to Miami next week.
Well, Johnny, the reason why they have 6 losses is because Ken Dorsey said, all right, we got stuffed on the run on first down. All right, we'll forget the run. We're going to pass with Josh out. Josh, you're going to throw the ball around. That's why they have 6 losses. If they stay with the run, they could be like have 10 wins right now.
Well, I think Dallas kind of got exposed a little bit too as far as their run defense.
Exposed. Yep.
Yeah, because they have one of the best pass rushing team defenses in the league. I mean, they're top 5 in like a bunch of defensive categories, but they got run over like nothing, bro.
Yeah,
like that's wild, bro. They ran the ball. Jeez,
Dallas had 25,
34.
Yeah, they didn't 42.
Show today. They ran the ball 48 times. Buffalo did. for almost 250 something yards. Jeez. Wow.
Dallas.
Sorry, Alan.
Week. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, Dallas is a great regular season team, not a good playoff team.
Well, I mean, we know that.
That's been going on for years too, man.
Yeah,
that's been going on for years.
They just until they get a quarterback in there that Dak disappears in big games. I mean, look at San Francisco, didn't play well. Look at this game, didn't play well. They got Detroit in a couple of weeks. They got Miami next week. I'm not confident Dak can win those games. You could lose those games very easily.
Yeah,
and Dallas could be a 3 seed, or actually a 6 seed.
Yeah,
they could be playing Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs.
Ooh.
At Philly. They're not going to beat Philly at Philly. It's possible.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something.
I think they'll be. They got the 5th seed locked up. I don't see them falling.
I would think so, but I can't.
So they may luck out and go to Tampa Bay or New Orleans.
But the way Tampa Bay is playing right now, they may lose to Tampa in the first round.
I don't know. I would still favor Dallas to win that game.
For all the good feelings that people feeling for Dak and for Mike McCarthy, if they fall to the 5 seed and lose in the first round to a Tampa Bay or whoever,
well, falling to the 5 seed's very easy because
if they're one and done and losing the first round to a Bucs team,
well, then maybe Mike could be. Who knows? I don't know. There's talk about him getting a contract extension.
Well, that was
next 3 weeks.
That was before
today,
before this game.
Right. So
Jerry,
who knows?
Jerry will pull the fire trigger if they lose in the first round of Tampa Bay. He'll pull the fire trigger. He'll say,
"Bro, Jerry's the type that he'll give him an extension and then fire him like a week later."
Yeah. Right. Right. That's true. Let's go ahead. We'll get into our turds of the week. Scott, we'll start with you. Who is your NFL Week 15 turd of the week?
We just talked about him. It's Dak Prescott. Big game. Don't show up. Don't play well. 134 yards passing. You got Lamb, Cooks, Pollard in the backfield. Jake Ferguson is tight end. Big game against Buffalo. You can win this game. You can almost cement the division if Philadelphia loses tomorrow night, and you just go out and throw 134 yards, and the offense doesn't do a thing. The touchdown they scored, CD Lamb on a 3-yard run at the end of the game. So you basically got dominated the whole game, and you didn't put up a fight. So I could go to the whole Cowboys team if I had to, Mike McCarthy and the whole Cowboys team, but I'll put it on Dak. Dak needs to play better. He needs to throw better. They're going into a buzzsaw in Miami next week. They need to win that game. If they don't win that game, all bets are off for even a 5 seed right now. Because if one of these wildcard teams gets hot, you can lay it all at the feet of Dak. Is Dak a great indoor quarterback and can't play on the road in December? That's to be seen. But my turn of the week is Dak Prescott.
Johnny, who is your turd of the week?
My turd of the week is Mr. Arthur Smith, head coach for now of the Atlanta Falcons. You go into Carolina with an opportunity to stay atop of your division. You're playing a 1-11 team. You mentioned it earlier, Scott. You barely used your first round pick, a top, what was he, 8 or something like that? The 8th pick overall, a dual threat running back who's shown you that he can play. So between Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, they're 3 stars on offense. They had 13 touches for 75 yards. 13 touches between your 3 best offensive players. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you deserve, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say people deserve to lose their job, bro, but like, you're holding back this team. Honestly, with the way you're running this offense, so either you, the offensive coordinator, whatever, but Arthur Smith, your handling of this Atlanta Falcons offense is deserving of being the turd of the week. So there you go, Atlanta, and I hope you lose the division.
Man, hot. You guys kind of took some of my turds here. There wasn't a whole. I mean, there was some turds. And then there wasn't some turds. I am going to actually give my turd here to the Chicago Bears. I mean, you were up in this game. You had this game look pretty good in hand. You had picked off Joe Flacco, 3 interceptions, but then in the fourth quarter, you guys began to crumble. Flacco leads this team to 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter, and you lose the game 20-17. The Bears' inept offense stinks right now. Give it up for the Chicago Bears as my NFL Week 15 turd of the week.
Well deserved.
Scott, we'll get back to you. Who's your dog of the week?
I could go in many directions, but I'm going to go with David Njoku, who's never talked about. 10 catches on 14 targets today for 104 yards and a touchdown. A tight end got 14 targets today in the NFL. That's amazing. Since Joe Flacco's been in starting for the Browns, he's been phenomenal. He's been everything that we all thought he would be. Last year, I drafted him all over the place. I thought it was going to be his breakout year. It was a little bit. Right now, he's playing his best football of his career, college and pros. Amazing catches, great touchdown catch today. Something that a tight end just doesn't do, catching the ball in the end zone like that. Athletic freak of nature. So my dog is David Njoku.
Johnny, who's your dog of the week?
That's a good one. There were a few really good ones, but I'm gonna give it to the guy that you guys admitted looked like Tom Brady today, Mr. Baker Mayfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 22 of 28, 381, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns in a big-time, much-needed win against the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau. They needed this. Now they are in first place. Baker Mayfield went nuts today. Shout out to Chris Godwin with the big game. White with running the ball very well. But Baker Mayfield is my dog of the week with that great performance he had this afternoon. He was just about perfect, bro.
Yeah, my dog of the week, it was a lot of dogs on the week. We could have went Jake Browning. You could have went Aiden O'Connell on Thursday. You could have went to James Cook. But my dog of the week, when your offense is missing its backup quarterback or starting quarterback, 5 offensive wide receivers, it felt like, and you get 7 sacks in a game and you find a way to win, that, my friends, is the Houston Texans defense. The Houston Texans defense getting 7 sacks. It felt like every time Will Levis dropped back, he was getting hit. The Houston Texans defense kept them in this game and ended up helping them win the game. The Houston Texans, in a game they had to have to keep their playoff lives alive, the Houston Texans Houston Texans defense is my NFL Week 15 dogs of the week.
Yes. That's a good one. Some very good ones. Very good ones today, man. For real.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, you could have went several. I thought about Baker myself. James Cook.
The Williams kid from the Rams.
Oh, yeah.
We just talked about Cook. Yeah, Cook went nuts today. A bunch of dogs.
There was a lot of candidates for dogs of the week. So
absolutely.
Yeah, players showed up today in big spots.
Yeah.
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
For sure. So
it was a struggle picking the turds because I felt like, man, like some of these guys are going to be dogs, and then you guys picked good turds, and I was kind of stuck with I picked the Bears, so I could have went Packers defense.
I mean, that's a good one. Like you had a perfect opportunity to win that game, Chicago, and you know what I'm saying? You let Joe Flacco have a flashback of 10 years ago or something and just go nuts in the fourth quarter.
Joe Flacco right now with the Browns reminds me of Kurt Warner when he came back with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
It was like, where the fuck has this guy been at? And he just, you know what I mean? Like, was written off, and then he's like, here he is. That's what it reminds me of.
He was literally on his couch, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me when Kurt Warner went to Arizona and took him to the Super Bowl on this unprecedented type run. Just like, where's this guy been at? Like, he wasn't even supposed to be our guy, and now he's our guy.
He's got to be loving life right now, bro. He's enjoying himself.
People would say Josh Allen was turd of the week. He wasn't when your running back is running for 170 yards today. He didn't have to throw the ball.
Man. What's going on, man?
What's up, Kemper? Kemper's a big Packers fan. Our Packers aren't making the playoffs, Kemp. Joe Barry deserves to be fired today. Probably should have been fired on Monday.
Wasn't he a DC when Scotty Miller got in back of him for that long touchdown in the playoffs? Was he?
I can't remember if that was Scotty Miller or Mike Pettin, but it might have been.
That was Pettin. That's right. It wasn't Joe Barry. It was Pettin.
Either way, our defensive coordinators we've always had bad. Like it seems like they'll have like one or two good years, and then they fall off. I mean, and that's yeah. I can't remember if it was Mike Pettin or Joe Barry, but
I think it was Pettin.
What up?
Yeah. What up? Back It Up podcast. Well, anyway, folks, that's kind of the show. Scott, you got anything before we get out of here?
No, except Alan and Flo. Welcome to the funeral of the Dallas Cowboys. Have fun. They're going
Cowboys
down.
fans done.
No, but great day of NFL. I mean, it was a great day. We
only got a few more weeks of this. I mean, just think we got all the teams the next 3 weeks, and then in 4 weeks we got Super Bowl wildcard weekend. After that, there's only 8 teams playing. So in 5 weeks, you're only going to have 8 teams playing.
Yeah.
Yep. So enjoy it while we still have it.
Kipper, I get what you're saying here. Technically, it's not over. You sound like my wife when I'm like, Packers are going to lose this game, and she's like, "Baby, you got to have faith." There's no fucking faith, yo. I can read the tea leaves, and by technicality, it's not over. No, it was probably I should have never. I am more mad at myself. It's like the damn ex-girlfriend that keeps coming over, and you keep you're like, I'm done with her. I'm breaking up with her. It's over. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it. And then you get a little bit of liquor. She sends you some nudies. And then you're like, I love her all over again. I want to make out with her. I love her. I want to be with her. This is it. I'm all in love with her. I can't wait for her. And then you're back in love with her. You're thinking, this is the future. I can do this. We're going to be a great marriage. And then she goes and cheats on with your best friend. And it's like I should have never given. Why? Why did I let myself? Why did I buy in after the Lions and Chiefs? Why? I'm more mad at that than I am at the team.
So, to Nick's point. Okay, to Nick's point. Dallas and Philadelphia's got one of the wild cards, okay? So you got at 7-7 right now, you got Minnesota, the Saints, the Rams. Seattle 6-7. If they somehow beat Philly, they're 7-7. And then Green Bay 6-8. So Green Bay can't lose another game the rest of the year. They have to win out. Because
but Scott, we should not be losing to the likes of the Giants and the Buccaneers.
That Giants game is going to come back to haunt you, man. I mean, one thing we talked about before the season started, because I know I gave you some hope for this year, but I told you about Jordan Love. So maybe I'm saying that's the positive you can pull out of this is that the kid looks like he does. Potential.
I said the last 2 losses
are a good player. Your coach did some good things this year. I think he could have done a little bit better helping his young quarterback out earlier in the season as far as running the ball a little bit more. But you guys definitely need to do something on the defensive side. But at least going forward that you got a quarterback to work with, and hopefully he'll continue to develop.
Well, Kip, I did buy in. I get why wouldn't you buy in, right? Like, why wouldn't you want to buy in? But I should have known better. I should have known they were going to break my heart again. That's all I'm saying. Of course I'm going to buy in.
Yeah, I hate
they can win out.
Loss was horrible.
I agree with you. They can win out.
But now they need help. Now they need help. And they need help now.
They need help.
Can we win out? Yes. Can we beat the Giants and the Bucks? We can. Yes, we can, but will we? I don't know. That's the problem. It does not look promising.
You can beat each team, no doubt, but will you?
Right.
With deficiencies on defense, okay?
We should. Should we? I guess the question, should we win out? Yes. Right. Do I think we will? I don't really know. Right. Because I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not saying we're going to.
Don't forget.
I said we were going to win out and make the playoffs 2 weeks ago, and then we lost to the Giants in a bad Monday night game because we run the jet sweep 30 freaking times. And
but here's the thing: last year they were in the playoffs all year long. It came down to the Detroit game at Green Bay. Okay, everybody was saying Green Bay is going to win that game. They're going to get in the playoffs. And what happened? Detroit went in and beat them. So I'm not saying that they will not win every game out. Because they can and they should, but they need some help now, and that's the worst position you want to be in the NFL is hoping that others.
You could have just won out. Yeah, the Giants game, this game.
If you beat the Giants today's game,
we made Baker Mayfield look like I said. We made Baker Mayfield look like Tom Brady. We made Tommy DeVito on Monday night look like he was Steve Young, the way he was running all over us. Yep. I mean,
Green Bay is one of those middle of the road teams that have enough deficiencies to be an under 500. But if Jordan Love plays well, like he's shown in the last 4 or 5 weeks, they could win. They could win. So,
I'm disappointed, Kemper. I mean, who's not disappointed? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to look at it. Like 7-8 right now. You are with the record you are.
I'm disappointed in myself. I'm happy. I'm actually happy with the way the offense has looked. Like I think Jordan Love looks like a comfortable quarterback for the future. I've said that for like 2-3 weeks now. Like, hey, we got our answer. I think he's a guy that can be a guy for the next few years. You know,
a couple of good young wide receivers that can develop. Not counting Watson. You know what I'm saying? But I like Reed and Dobbs. So you got some pieces there, man.
Even that Heath kid is, I think he's got some good hands on him.
See what you can do with the backfield, some O-line.
It's just so frustrating when you're supposed to have a good defense. You're hanging your hat on this defense because we've drafted 10 first rounders on this damn defense, and we can't stop nobody. We haven't been able to stop the run for 4 years.
No, agreed. I mean, the depth on the defense is a kind of a problem right now.
Yeah.
They don't have.
That's one thing we can agree, Kemper.
Said
Kemper's
that.
I live in maybe a pessimistic reality, and he's a optimistic. I used to once be.
But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing.
Hit me in the face.
If Jones doesn't play today and Dillon was out, your starting running back is Patrick Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, that says a lot about what.
I mean, you can't help. Every team's got to deal with injuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. But I think this is not the year you were looking at the playoffs. I think it's next year and the years down the road.
No, we didn't make the. You know, I said this. We didn't make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. What did we do to improve to say we're going to make the playoffs without Aaron Rodgers? Not a thing. Actually, not a thing. We didn't go out and add a free agent or anything else. We just drafted. You know what I mean? It's not like. You know what I mean? So I got expectations, but we won more games than what some people on this network said we were going to do. I said anywhere from 6 to 10 games. I thought floor was 6, ceiling was 10, and we're right there in the middle. So
give me receiving core 2 years, they'll be the best receiving core in the NFL.
We'll see. I hope so. Well, he's got to get offensive line.
That's the other thing.
I mean,
Bakhtiari would ever play a game again.
Yeah. Joe Barry. How does Joe Barry? You could say that a lot of coordinators, a lot of jobs. In fact, the Eagles quit. They didn't fire their defensive coordinator, but Matt Patricia's doing play calling, and they sent the guy who was calling plays to the booth, and Matt Patricia on the floor.
Yeah.
So Kepner, to this comment. I'll say, they deserve to get in because every NFL team that makes the playoffs deserves.
Yeah. I would say I'm surprised that we're in, and I'm glad. Like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, two weeks ago when we beat the Chiefs, I said we're going to make the playoffs. Now after losing to the Giants and Bucks, I'm a week by week guy, man. Okay, I'm a checkers player, not a chess player. All right,
that's what the NFL is. It's a week to week league, basically, right now.
Love has more TDs.
The next week you look so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I have not bashed Love really at all. Even when he was struggling, I said I don't know if it's this kid's fault. I've never said anything is his fault or he can't play. That's one thing I will say I've been pretty consistent about. Even when he was struggling, I said I don't know whose fault it is. It seems like at that time he wasn't throwing the ball deep down the field early in the year, and now he's getting that. We're developing plays more.
It looks like he got off to a little bit of a slow start, but he seemed to find his footing. And like I said, you definitely know that there's something to work with there.
I am an emotional roller coaster, Kemper. I'm not gonna lie. When it comes to my teams,
that's what football does to us, bro. Yeah. I was a wreck last week. I ain't up front. You know what I'm saying? That Monday night game hit me hard. I feel a lot better today. I ain't up front.
Yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, I am an emotional roller coaster. Some of it, puts out for good TV too. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. We appreciate everybody's comments. Thanks, Kemper, for tuning in. DM me, Kemp, if you ever want me to come on the show. and I will bring your optimism down to a notch or two because I'm pessimistic. I just speak in reality, man. I think I am week to week. I am a fan like that. So beat the Panthers. Where will we be? Hey, we're supposed to be. If we lose to the fucking Panthers, Kemper, I'm gonna lose my. I will come on here and I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind if we lose to the Panthers next week. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, if you lose to the Panthers, you may be the turd of the week next week.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus.
If he loses to the Panthers next week, Nick will be on the show by himself for the first 5 minutes, spouting off about how bad the Packers are.
I mean, they will never. The FCC, if YouTube was regulated, they would just have to bleep out if we lose to the Panthers next week. Anyway, folks, we'll be back tomorrow night, 8:00 Central, 9 Eastern, for the Let's Talk Sports show. We'll have Jim and Jonathan on. We'll talk. Jonathan will be happy as Saints win. I don't know. Is he happy? Because if the Saints keep winning and they make the playoffs,
he's going to be happy. He'll be happy.
I mean, Dennis Allen. There's no more fired Dennis Allen talk. You know what I mean?
He'll be happy if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just a weird conundrum there. And we'll talk with him. We'll talk with Jim about some wrestling news and some and hockey too. So, All right, folks. We will see you next tomorrow night. Be a friend, tell a friend. Rob Lowe, again, best wishes out to Rob Lowe. We're wishing a speedy recovery. Our dear friend here at the LTS Network. If you haven't heard or not friends with Rob on Facebook, Rob had a heart attack, I believe, Friday night. But is expected to make full recovery. His wife Nicole put out a statement like he's a statement like a newspaper, but did post on Facebook that he's recovering, going to eat. He's still got some tubes, but they took out a feeding tube's going to eat. It's last I read on that. So we here at the Bodkin Show LTS Network, we wish Rob in his family is recovery, the absolute best. Those who have worked with Rob is a standout guy. I believe he probably had the heart attack because he was so fucking happy that Brandon Staley got fired and he couldn't believe it. So the Chargers late to Rob one more time. Anyway, best of luck, Rob. We love you. We can't wait to see you back on the network again. So see ya, folks.